Let's move on to our next participant, Priyanka Sejpal, who's there with City Scoop. It's a news magazine for children written by older kids. Priyanka, stage is all yours.
So hi, my magazine name is going to be City Scoop, and it's basically all about it's all about like what is City Scoop. It's an online magazine for the age group 12 to 16-year-olds, and it includes basically everything about today's world that you could even think of, like Hollywood, Bollywood talks, and intellectual activities, daily news, politics, and everything. And it's basically they can subscribe through a website, and they get like a copy of the newspaper once a month. And once they get a and yeah, so why am I making this magazine? Like, how is it any different from anything else? And why is it so important for me to actually make it in the first place? Is that kids these days aren't updated on the daily news at all. Like, if you ask any kid, like from my grade or even a grade older, they have no idea about what's going on in today's world. And in my opinion, that like our generations, they keep getting more detached from today's world. It's all about just their stuff, and I feel like we should all really pay more attention to like what's going on. So yeah, and this is my logo, as you can see. So my competition and market research is I did a bunch of research, but I feel like kids Asian times for kids is too magazine that I really see people buying. And I feel like, and what I took away from these is, I suppose, kids age, it has a lot of fun interactive activities and stuff like that, but the articles aren't so great, and they're only specific to kids. But when you look at my magazine, it's going to be more about focusing on teenagers. Like, the language will be appropriate for them. They'd have more fun reading it in the first place. Now if you see how am I different, so I study the missing elements from all different magazines, and I'm going to incorporate them and make the global issues more enhanced in my articles, since they're written by kids my age from the best writers from my school, and not only my grade, from grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So survey data, how did I interview them? I had a Google form. I took interviews in person. I interviewed a bunch of teachers, my language teachers, and my social studies teachers, and all of that. So okay, yeah, what were the results I got? That I should make sure that my unique element is actually visible. Why in my magazine I have a good team. So when I say team, I don't really mean just a team of writers. There'll be a team of designers, a team of writers, an organizing team, and a publishing one. Our finance slides. As you see here, there isn't like the unit cost slides as you'd expect it to be, because this is more of an online magazine, and this is just a small startup. There's not actually much cost going into making this product. It's more about it's like a bunch of us. I got a team of writers from my school. They've written a bunch of different articles for me. I have a team of designers, and this is more like an opportunity for all of us to just start something up more than it. But they all definitely have benefits to it. But once I take this forward, I'll actually reach out to people and have a bunch of professionals write this stuff for me too. And sales. So until now, I got 30 subscribers in the past month, and they've all subscribed to the 4-month subscription. And I earned 30,000 rupees until now. And I'll be sending out my first issue, I think, in the next week, once it's like completely finalized with my team. So my team, I think I already spoke about this, but I'll just talk about it again, that it's basically all students right now, students and like people who are older than me, but like grade 11. And it's all people from different schools, not only my school. I gathered people from Dhirubhai Ambani, Oberoi International, and a bunch of other schools around Mumbai. And a few of them design it for me, a few of them are writing it, and I've written a couple of articles too. It's not only them. So that's how we've collaborated together and tried to put this together. So yeah, thank you. And I'll just show you my prototype once. It's just a small bit of the magazine. Just give me 1 second, I'll present it. Okay, so this is my, I also have a website, but this is some bit of my magazine, and so that's all and all of my articles I forgot to mention aren't like basic facts about today's world. So when I say I talk about history, it's some things that you'll never know about the person and how it actually worked. I got information from interviews from teachers who actually teach in schools and professionals. Then I give a list of book recommendations about what's going on in space, politics, and all of it, and different things that might interest students. And there's a bunch of activities, and the next issue comes. This is just a small bit of it, but yeah, I hope you like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. That was a really interesting idea, and I love the design of the magazine and the different components. You had a piece in history, you had a piece on puzzles and trying to engage the reader. So just wanted to understand how long is your magazine going to be every month, and how long will it take you to produce this magazine in terms of getting the content together? And have you thought of that? Like, what's your ideal length so that you can produce this every month?
So my ideal length wouldn't be more than 15 pages would actually be the max, because as you know, kids of my age, teenagers, we don't stay interested in one thing for too long. So if it's too long, we're just going to get bored of it at the end of the day. So I decided to keep it pretty short, but I've made sure that my articles are very interesting, and like they wouldn't be too hard to understand too. So you enjoy reading it. It's a very simple read kind of a magazine, and I made sure it is once a month because we're like a group of kids who don't have a lot of time, but we've put in like a bunch of hours every week to get this done, and I think we'll be able to produce a one magazine per month, approximately 15 pages, and it'll be sent to subscribers with a code. So yeah.
And how do you think you're splitting those 15 pages between different kinds of content?
So I'll be splitting it. So every month I'll focus on something very different. So this time I focused on history and space, as you could see, but it'll actually be a mix. So suppose if there's 15 pages of articles, there'll be a page of suppose book recommendation, movie recommendations, because that's what we all obviously are interested in. And then there'll be a bunch of writers they can look at. So that'll be like approximately 2 to 3 pages dedicated to that, and a few articles about politics, because there's a lot going on, as you can see, about politics, crime, and everything like that, all the interesting topics. And there'll be I think there'll be 3 to 4 pages on space too, since there's a lot of news that's going on, at least right now. So however it progresses, I'll dedicate it accordingly.
Got it. And do you mail your subscribers the magazine today, or do you have like a website? How you think of that?
Yeah, so first they subscribe to a website, and right now my digital team, we're working on some we had this site that we're using, so we publish our magazine to it, and every subscriber gets a code to access the magazine. So you can't just forward the copy around everywhere, because that wouldn't actually get me a bunch of profits too. So they get like a code which helps them access the magazine. So that's how I'm working on it.
Yeah, I was heading to that to ask you how are you going to prevent people from forwarding it? But
Yeah,
great
so we
idea.
have a code that only works on one device each. So suppose I log into my laptop, it works, and then the code gets disabled automatically. So yeah.
Hi, Priyanka. This is really great and an interesting way to engage with the audience. I just had a question to understand, like, uh, currently you're targeting a certain age group, right? And as you progress, you would start to move out of being connected with that age group. So how do you plan to keep your content relevant for the target audience that you're targeting?
So right now, so as you can see, there's like a bunch of different topics that I'm focusing on, right? So as like whatever the talks go around me, suppose it's teenagers, right? Where like whatever goes around, we're interested in. So however, the news keeps updating, and whatever we get interested in most, whatever's the most talked about, I'll probably focus more about that than things that aren't very common. So if you look at common things, I'll write about them, but in a very unique manner that they won't even know about it. They get a lot of information. And about the age group thing, right now I'm focusing on teenagers, but as we spoke as a team, and we plan to take it from teenagers to senior citizens, because right now even when they try to look at the news, they just have it on WhatsApp and they keep forwarding it to everyone. So instead of that, we're looking at a very simple database that would help senior citizens like my grandparents, like, because they're very interested too, but sometimes it's very hard for them to understand about what's going on in the politics, for example. So once we move forward, instead of staying to the age group of our parents, we're going to our senior citizens. So it's something very unique and no one's actually done it before. So we're looking forward to do that. Thank you.
Wow, that's really interesting. Thanks, Priyanka.